I'd like to introduce Lara Taylor. She has a Master's of Library and Information Science from University of Southern Miss. She is currently also pursuing a PhD with Purdue in technology with an emphasis on AI-human interaction. She is an AI connection catalyst. She has 38 years of experience and entrepreneurial flair. She unites people and tech across industries. She has she works currently as a project manager in the CoWork space, which is with the East Center College of Business, Mississippi State. She has previously empowered students through Mississippi State's Digital Media Center, where she taught over 135 software workshops. That's pretty impressive, 135. So I got to know her because I'm a member of the CoWork, and she gave several talks about AI to the group there at the space, and it's been great. So without further ado, Lara.
Thank you so much, Laurel, for the introduction. I appreciate it. I just want to say hello to everyone here, the Rotary officers, the other members, people from the Mississippi State University campus and community. It's really an honor to be here and get a chance to share all of this with you today. I'm going to do something a little different. Normally I would do a workshop where I would lead you through activities, and we would have a lot of PowerPoints and we would do some practical learning. But today I want to share with you some information about AI and Mississippi that you may or may not be aware of, okay? I'm going to put my glasses on just so I can keep up with what my notes are. So I'm going to start with the really good news, okay? And there's a lot of it. Mississippi is making monumental strides in history in artificial intelligence, okay? We're not just participating, we're not just catching up. Probably for one of the first times ever, we are actually leading in ways that have garnered national attention. And that's pretty amazing. So I want to share some of that with you. The first thing I want to tell you about is an organization called MAIN, the Mississippi AI Network. How many of you have heard of this? Just one or two? All right. So it is the very first and only statewide AI initiative in the country. Okay? It connects every single university, every single community college, every single elementary school, as well as businesses, industry, state government, and military partners. Okay? Nobody else in the country is doing this to this extent. And what we are developing through Maine is being studied around the country. It was established in 2023 and is led by the Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College. All right? Dr. Colin Napier is the president. If you don't know Colin, he is wonderful and absolutely worth getting to know. Okay, so their comprehensive approach, like I said, it doesn't exist anywhere in the United States, right? They have already, in the last 2 years, taught over 20,000 cumulative hours of AI training, and this is all for free. It's available to every citizen of our state for free. They're not simple, basic AI courses that you complete in an hour. They're 64 hours of comprehensive learning over 8 weeks. And again, this is offered to everybody in our state for free. You know, it's amazing to see what is coming out of the state and what we are doing in adopting and fostering this, okay? A lot of initiatives are going on in different ways. Our governor is leading, believe it or not, with some really, really great initiatives. I know. You know, enough said. He established Mississippi's first executive order on artificial intelligence back in January of this year. Okay, Dr. Colin Napier, that I just mentioned of Maine, is the head of that organization. They do an absolutely fantastic job. So their first order of business was to establish frameworks to use AI in government and to protect privacy and security. And we're going to get into this before all this is over as to why that's important, okay? Then in June, he came back and announced the creation of the Mississippi AI Talent Accelerator Program. This has over $9 million in grants that are going out to 8 institutions of higher learning across the state. So that's very, very impressive, considering Dr. Keenan was sitting here last week talking about how budgets were cut. The fact that this investment is going on is really great. So as of right now, Mississippi has invested over $37 million in education training. And we've also developed partnerships with big, big names: Microsoft, Amazon Web Services, NVIDIA, Intel, and Dell Technologies. They're all coming into our state. They're all working with us to develop AI infrastructure. Another great group in our state that you may or may not know about is the Mississippi AI Collaborative. This is funded out of Jackson, and it is in collaboration with Jackson State University. The lady that founded this is a lady named Dr. Nashley Cephas. She is the only female AI scientist at Amazon, and she's from Jackson, Mississippi. She bought 26 acres in downtown Jackson to convert into a technology park for underprivileged people. The group she has right now that's operating most of this is called the Bean Path, and what they are doing is just remarkable. They're coming in and working alongside people, giving leadership workshops, giving actual skill workshops. They're working with interns in college and high school to help them develop these skills so they can then go and tell their friends and their peers about this. What's remarkable, I think personally, about the Mississippi AI Collaborative, and I have to tell you I'm a little biased about it because I'm a research fellow for them this year, is that they're so inclusive, okay? They did an AI, what they called an AI hackathon, or an AI-a-thon. And it was really just like a 12-hour course to learn how to use AI and develop basic skills. So out of the people who participated, over 75% were women, and over 68 were Black or African American learners. So they really have a heart for reaching the underprivileged in our state, and I love that I'm able to work with them. One of the things that I am working on this year with them is a program on how and why to use AI. Everybody wants to either avoid it completely or dive in head first and use it for everything. But what we have to understand is there are times and places for everything, for every skill, for every tool, right? And we are working on a course that will be started at Jackson State and then progress to the rest of the state on how to use that in a way that is resourceful. You know, our universities are making a huge impact too. And I'm really, really proud of that. I'm really, really proud of that. You know, I'm a teacher. That's what I do. I know I have an MLIS in Library and Information Science, but I got into that because I really believe in serving and teaching others. And it's just wonderful to see our universities coming together and working to make sure that AI adoption is taking place. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but there's kind of a divide on campus right now because the professors can choose how they want to handle AI in their classrooms, right? They can either choose to let the students use it or choose not to let them use it. I have a niece that's in school, you know, and she's like, it's just so confusing. I can't remember whether I'm supposed to use it in this class, whether I'm not able to use it in this class, so I'm just not using it at all, you know? And I mean, we may all be sitting here going, that's great, but it's really not, and I'm going to get to why, okay? But first, I just want to tell you real quick. Ole Miss has been selected as one of only 15 universities nationwide, okay, to join OpenAI's next-gen AI initiatives. I think that's pretty powerful. And we're not hearing these stories being talked about as much as we should. You know, Mississippi State became the first university in Mississippi and in the SEC to implement a master's in artificial intelligence, and we have also become the first to partner with Amazon to become an AWS platform, which I'm really, really excited about for us as well. And, you know, we're also managing this huge cyber facility that's being built at Keesler. More to come on that in a minute as well. Jackson State University received $1.3 million to expand AI education. They launched what's called the State AI Agency, and I love this because it's a program where business students take this course to learn AI skills, and then their end result is to go out to businesses in the community and teach business owners how to do what they now know how to do. And I just think that is absolutely wonderful. So these are all good things, right? Belhaven has launched its first online Master of Science AI degree. So now you can do that online as well as in person. And then I just want to talk a little bit about the East Center at Mississippi State with the College of Business, because that's where I work. And I'm super, super proud of what we're doing at the CoWork at the Hub. It's a collaboration office space. We provide scholarships to the students who are going through our Venture Catalyst program so they can come in and have free office space. I also manage the Idea Shop. Unfortunately, it's still shut down this semester due to HVAC issues. But this is really a prototyping center, right? We have resin printers, we have regular 3D printers, we have glow forges, and we have an entire woodworking shop that goes along with this, okay? We have 23 members in Starkville. 23. Nobody knows about it. But it's a great prototyping facility. We can do prototyping for just about anything, and we do. So I'm really proud of what we're doing there and how we're working with the community to help them. Has anybody heard what's going on down at Keesler? Are y'all familiar with Keesler? Yeah, a couple of people. Okay, so what's really cool, and the reason I bring this up is because the lady that controls, that is the manager for the hub right now, was the one that initiated this project. She used to be military, she worked for the Air Force, and she's the one that got the ball rolling. So, it's been designated as the official cybersecurity training hub for the Air Force. Little old Biloxi, Mississippi, Keesler Air Force Base. Yeah, I'm from the coast. I grew up in Gulfport, so I love this. This makes me happy beyond belief, you know. They're training over 8,700 professionals every year right now. And that number is just going to continue to grow because back in August, we took a partnership with them, took an entire section of the base located right by the railroad tracks near the beach, and they broke ground on what's going to be a 100,000 square feet state-of-the-art facility for cybersecurity training. This is partnered with the governor, with Maine, with Dell, and a couple of organizations other than that. This is huge. This positions us as being a major hub of cybersecurity. And this cybersecurity is going to be, if it's not already, one of the most important aspects of AI. Last week, the very first AI-created malware was discovered. Did anybody read about this? It actually goes in and uses the AI code against itself. So people are getting really smart with this, and a lot of things are happening in our state, but we need to be informed and we need to be looking out. I just want to quickly tell you a couple of things. Private sector investment in Mississippi, you may or may not know. There's been over $26 million invested in infrastructure here. Amazon Web Services provided over $10 billion for a data service center in Madison County. Compass Data Centers is building a $10 billion complex in Madison also. And then Aveo Digital has a $6 billion data hub in Brandon. So we've already got private investors that are investing over $36 billion, right? And then we have all that kind of success happening right here. Camgean is huge in AI. And they're founded right here. They have expanded into several other states. We have Vive LLC, the creator of glow cubes here. Has anybody ever seen those? The little Sesame Street. They're fantastic. These are for auditory and sensory development when children are playing in the bathtub. So they were invented, prototyped at the Idea Shop. This company is now valued at close to $30 million, I believe. But the cubes activate, turn on a little light. When it work with. I am currently in the middle of a prototyping project with them. And then we have a lot of startups in this state. And they're all coming to Mississippi. And they're coming to Starkville specifically because the Business Center offers all kinds of pitch competitions. Last year, we gave away over $100,000 in pitch competitions to funding starters here in Mississippi. The Mississippi AI Accelerator Program is another really great resource that we have. This is through Jackson State. They graduated their first cohort back in April with over 13 entrepreneurs who completed extensive training in AI. And then I have an AI consulting business called State AI Strategies right here. Y'all are welcome to reach out to me anytime if you need help with training. So, you know, this is really, really great, right? There's all this great stuff happening here in our state. $36 billion of private investment, hundreds of billion dollars in government investment, you know. We're doing great, right? Everybody was like, this is probably the best we've ever been, right? We're at the bottom of every rank, pretty much, nationwide, okay? And the reason is because there's, well, what the experts say is there's no curiosity in our state to learn about this, okay? So our rank by Design Rush 2025, they did a assessment readiness study across all 50 states. We ranked 47. Our AI readiness score was 64.75 compared to number 1, Utah, 85, Florida, 80, number 15, Georgia, 76, number 21, Tennessee, 74, 24, Louisiana, 72. So only Arkansas, Wyoming, and South Dakota rank lower than us right now in AI adoption. And that's pretty scary because we're only at 4.5% adoption right now statewide. This is not going away. I know there are a lot of people, maybe some sitting in this room, that wish it would. But this technology is here to stay, just like the World Wide Web was, just like cell phones. You know, the difference is we have hopefully learned from the past and can take some of those bad decisions that we made and move forward, right? This is the number that just really concerns me, okay? Out of AI-related searches per 1,000 residents, we average 58. 58 internet searches for 1,000 or 100,000 citizens in this state. Nobody's looking for it. Nobody wants it. But like I said, it's here, okay? It's not going anywhere. Multiple national studies confirmed that Mississippi had the least interest in AI nationwide. So in a lot of these, we're ranking 50. We're on the bottom. You know, and it's confusing, right? Because I just sit here for 15 minutes telling you all these great things, right, that's going on in Mississippi. We have built amazing infrastructure in this state to really catapult us, but nobody wants to. And to me, that's just, it's kind of confusing, kind of amusing, kind of like, what's going on? Because I love it. I mean, I was an early adopter. I'm an emerging technologies person. I'm always looking for that next great thing. I was studying AI and doing research on it back in 2019 before ChatGPT even existed. You know, and there are a lot of us who want to see this technology used in ways that are going to benefit all of us, right? Because it can be done, and it is being done in other parts of the country, just not here. You know, so the question is, are you going to be one of those adopters, one of those people who want to be curious about a new technology and a new skill? Are you going to be one of those people who honestly are probably afraid? You know, and look, I'm going to tell you, it's okay if you're in that category, okay? When we have big technological changes like the internet, like the cell phones, heck, even 24-hour cable. Most of us remember that day, right? When we switched on 24/7. I was working at a TV station in Biloxi at the time. And and I was the one that kept it on all night for the very first time. Really, really weird experience. You know, all of this, every bit of it, it can make us something better, right? But when this technology comes out, it's almost like we're in stages of grief. We get angry, and then we kind of like want to compromise. Well, maybe I'll try ChatGPT for this, but I'm not doing anything else. Or maybe I'll use Copilot to answer my emails, but I'm not using anything else, you know. We're really selling ourselves short, in all honesty. I'm just going to say that. You know, it's hard, and this is just me speaking from my heart about what I believe right now, you know, it's really, really hard for us to take a technology, because we know it's going to bring change, right? And to just reach out and say, I'm all in. Most of us are going to pull back, and that's why I say it's like being in a stage of grief. You know, and I think that if each of you really sat down and thought about why you do or don't like AI, you'd find yourself in one of those stages right now. And I've told this to people all over the country, and it's just really weird to see the reactions from that, because some people are like, wow, okay, you might be right about that, you know. And I think that understanding why you have a dislike or a mistrust of it is important. And look, I'll tell you, because we're talking about ethics for a second, okay? This is a technology that was built in the most unethical way ever, right? They scraped the internet. Yes, sir?
We sit right here in Starkville, Mississippi, on the doorstep of Mississippi State University. What has the university done in terms of introducing this to the high schoolers of Mississippi?
Nothing that I'm aware of. Absolutely nothing. That's why you have groups like Maine and Mississippi AI Collaborative that are putting together these programs and giving out free training and skill sets. You know, it's kind of sad, honestly. But they're still figuring so much out themselves that they haven't had time to develop a curriculum for anybody else, I would say. Yes, sir?
How did Ole Miss get that recognition that we didn't?
Well, they took an earlier strategy of adoption, okay? I can tell you, when ChatGPT started hitting Mississippi State, you know, I went through, one of the first things that happened was the SEC developed a course. And they wanted people in the universities all across the SEC to take this class and be a part of this cohort. And it was a 16-week class. I did it. And, you know, it's meant for us to go out and teach, right? But not everybody believes that they're a teacher. You know, not everybody thinks that they can take this information and share it with somebody else because, you know, I'm this or I'm that. But we can share what we know. We can share our knowledge and increase this. I have a book coming out next year called the DARES Framework. It's a framework that I developed on how to understand AI. It's going to be published by Bloomsbury, and I kind of want to walk you through that framework for just a minute and show you how everything I've talked about is a part of that, okay? So it's called the DARES Framework, which stands for discernment, aptitude, resourcefulness, ethics, and symbiosis. Because unless we're looking at all of these areas in relation to AI, we're not doing it right. We're not doing it ethically, and we're definitely not doing it in a way that's going to benefit others, right? So, you know, most people, you'll hear them talk about critical thinking. That's the buzzword, right? AI is destroying critical thinking, you know, but we all acknowledge that it's part of a skill set that we really need to do AI well, okay? I chose discernment instead because I'm all about keeping the human interaction with the AI, and discernment brings that human interaction where critical thinking does not. So, you know, what Mississippi's AI Legislative Task Force is doing right now, the way that they're examining things and working through frameworks and ideas and how to set all this up is using discernment, right? They're really being thoughtful about this, and it's important that they're doing that. But what does discernment mean for all of you, for entrepreneurs sitting in the room, right? It means understanding which AI tools will help you with the task at hand, okay? ChatGPT is great for one thing, but it's not great for everything. And it's knowing which tool is going to help you. It's recognizing the difference between AI that adds value and AI that wastes resources, okay? Because we've got them both. We've got models that are being trained that are taking so many resources. China released another model last week. I can't remember the name of it, but it's the most token efficient with the least cost of training that's been released yet. And this is important because our natural resources are important to us, okay? Discernment also means knowing when human judgment, creativity, or relationships are more value than automation. Sometimes you just don't need AI, okay? And understanding that sometimes the right answer is to choose not to use it at all. You have to have discernment. Your opportunity to practice discernment is easy. Get on Maine's website, go take a course. They have an intro to AI that is absolutely fabulous. Every single person could learn something from it this room. You know, build your knowledge to recognize the good from the bad, because there's a lot out there, and everybody's telling you different. You know, who are our authorities in this field right now? You know, are we looking to Sam Altman and Zuckerberg to kind of guide us? Personally, for me, no. You know, that's just because I disagree with the whole erotica robot angle that OpenAI is taking. You know, that's a personal choice. But, you know, practice discernment in what you do. Some of y'all seem a little surprised by that. Yes, they are coming out with an exotic line just to power AI sex robots. It's scary to think about where our world is going and what this technology can bring, right? We did not do anything when the web was invented, and now we have the World Wide Web and the dark web, right? And we know that the dark web is nothing but criminal activity. We didn't put any guidelines or anything, regulations in place to stop it, okay? We need to learn from our mistakes. The second part is aptitude, okay? It's having the ability to have a basic understanding. And I borrow a metaphor from a friend of mine named Mike Kentz for this, because you need to think of using AI kind of like driving a car, okay? Everybody in here have a license? Everybody in here drive a car? Yeah, for the most part? How many of you are mechanics? How many of you can replace that car or fix that car if it breaks? None of us, right? Do y'all consider yourselves to be good drivers? Even though you don't know how that engine works and you can't fix it? Of course. So having the right aptitude is the same as being able to drive a car without having to know how the engine works. You don't have to have an amazing understanding of machine language, natural language processing, or any of this to be able to use these tools. That's what's so beautiful. And for some people, so scary about it, right? Up until 2 years ago, only scientists had access to this kind of information and these kind of tools. And now we all have it. And some people are like, do I have the skills to do this? Yes, ma'am. So the other one is resourcefulness, which is practical application, okay? And then I'm going to just speed through these real quick. That's kind of asking when and why, right? And how to use AI. And then ethical implications is E on the DARES framework. And we've discussed that, talking about Maine's application for ethics, talking about how the governor is working through all of this, right? And then finally, symbiosis. And I can talk about this one and ethics for probably hours on end. This is about how our world is affected by the tools we use, okay? Just briefly, it's consuming a lot of water, y'all. It's consuming massive amounts of water. And in one way, that makes us very attractive to infrastructure. In another way, it's hurting us because it's taking water, it's taking electricity, all these different things that we need, right? But the symbiosis of that is that these organizations are coming in and they're teaching in the right ways, and they're doing it in rural communities and the places that aren't being affected by campus universities. So today, I guess, I want to challenge you, okay, to take the time to learn a new skill. Okay, it's not going away. You need it. And then when you learn something, share it with somebody. Share it with your wife, share it with your kids, share it with a business colleague. Because that's how this is going to all change. That's how we're going to adopt and how we're going to grow. And then finally, I just want to say, we didn't get here by accident, Mississippi. We are a great state. But, in order to propel us further, it's going to take us doing more than we're doing right now. And that's what I wanted to encourage you to do, is to get out there and use AI, learn AI, and understand AI. Okay, and there's so many resources. I'm going to send you a list of all the links that I used today so that anybody who wants them can have that. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for your presentation today, Laura. A donation will be made on your behalf to MSU's Bullies Pantry. Next week, we will have Sean Tyndall, the Mississippi Commissioner of Public Safety. So I'll be here for that. Is there anything else we need to discuss? If not, let's stand and sign off.